Okay. Well, I'm familiar with this sort of area. We are in a sailing ship. A galleon, I would say. Well, if that's a representation of the ship we're in, the little model there. Some guns are apparently already readied for firing. Why are they... I don't think they generally keep the guns out for travel, but that cannon is the... Oh no, they've got 3 cannons ready to fire. Alright. They look like some pretty hefty, probably 9-pounders. Well, okay, I can already see that I want to go to the ship here. It's pretty. Definitely a sort of 16th century design. Doesn't look too modern. Slightly simplified. 10 guns. Based on the portholes there. Probably 2 bow chasers as well. Alright. Let's read. Oh, hang on. I will read that. Hang on, let me do one thing first. I've got to remember to do a scan with the eyepiece in. Okay. One thing I can see... They've got some, like, mortars up on the deck as well. Is that central mast definitely has something hidden behind it. That sort of shimmering is. The... Jesus. Is something you can affect in the ethereal realm. At least I gather. Anyway, let's read this. There is still no sign, and my patience wears thin. In my frustration, I even scaled the foremost, myself. A fool's errand. The fog is so dense I can barely see my own deck from the crow's nest, let alone the Helena. So that would be the ship is the Helena. Regardless, I have access to the gun deck. I have had the gun deck run out the cannons in readiness. It is good to keep the men sharp. Well, that explains why the guns are run out. Okay, so we've got 3 things that are capitalized: foremast, crow's nest, and cannons. The foremast is obvious. This is the foremast. So I can turn this and that. What does that do? Is that what we want? That's what we want. Okay, there is a small gold key in the foremast. So you got the well, this only is 2 masted, so it's not a it's a relatively small boat. But in a normal 3-masted ship, you'd have the foremast, the mainmast, and the and the mizzenmast. Okay, so the key goes somewhere. I can't seem to affect it. Do I see a keyhole? The next one was the crow's nest. Now the crow's nest... I think that was the crow's nest. I even scaled the foremast. Well, that would be the foremast, so I don't know what the crow's nest is. That's the the crow's nest is at the top. Okay, interesting. Does it look like there's a keyhole anywhere? No, I thought that looked like a switch. Let's look at the guns. Very detailed bit of metalwork down there. Doesn't look like it can affect anything. Aha! See, I'm noticing this pattern, which might mean something opens here. There does look like there's something here, and it may be connected to the rudder, but I'm not 100% certain. Let's check the helm. There's no wheel on the helm. Sort of... There should be ropes going down, but I suppose... Well, that might actually also slide to the side, because there's a bit taken out there. Okay. Anything else I can click on around here? Okay, I've got to find somewhere to slot this key. A fool's errand. The fog is so dense I can barely see my own deck from the crow's nest, let alone the Helena. So, It's got to be somewhere on this ship. Does that might that just literally go here? I think that might be where the anchor's supposed to be. So I've got to keep my eye out for an anchor. Alright. Huh. Where? That won't go in there. Crow's nest. I've had the gun deck run out the cannons, so... What does it want me to... Is it telling me to do something? I scaled the foremost myself, and I found a key. Fool's errand, the fog says I can barely see my own deck from the crow's nest. Let alone the Helena, which might be another ship, actually. I can barely see my own deck, let alone the Helena. So the ship is not the Helena. There is another ship called Helena. I even scaled the foremost and then run out the cannons. There's a clue in there. Ah, run out the cannons. You want me to do that? Although it did say, in my defense, run them out on the gun deck, which it's now doing. But that was the top deck. Okay, keyhole. A side of the ship opens up. I assume that flips open, so we've got some... Oh. Some stuff in there. We've got a strange-shaped key. Well, I'll have a look. 3 triangles going outwards. We've got a symbol that seems to have 1 filled triangle and 2 empty triangles on the side, which might denote that there's more than one of this sort of key. Barrels, guns, there's a chest in there. Okay, there's a gem. Now I've got half a gem here. Presumably there's another half that goes into that section and Alright. I've got a chest I've got to open. Does that... Okay, so it'll open up new parts of the room. So rather than a single object, I'm now actually solving a room. This is more accurately described. Alright, let's have a look at this chest, but I want to go back to that ship pretty quick. Oh, it just drops down. Okay. Right, I see. So, this is the key for 1 filled-in triangle. Now, if I look... if I... Hold on, no. It's got to be the top triangle filled in. So... That there... That there. And that there. Presumably that means I can fit this... I might be reading this wrong. Is it... Does it go inwards? Yeah, that looks like it fits. Okay, that opens... Oh. Nope. Yeah. There we are. I want to go back to the ship, but I guess I'll keep doing what I'm doing. It might be necessary to do this bit first. So we've obviously got 2 shimmering sections. That goes there. Alright, I think we got 4 of those somewhere around here to do. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to press this switch. That'll open up another one. And then there looks like another switch up here. we are. Fiddly opening mechanic, but I guess it's secure. Alright, so something then probably goes in there and turns this mechanism to open it fully. So I've got to find that. Oh. Hey-oh. I don't know what that means. But I'm going to keep that noted. We got a different triangle filled in, so I think I might need to find another key. Book. It's been 30 weeks at sea, and the crew grows restless at our lack of plunder. It's a pirate ship, then. Oh, it's a privateer. Though I would not betray it, I share those concerns. A privateer's license is not so small investment, and my investors will not be happy without a return. According to the prisoners we took off the San Esposito, we should find the Santa Helena in these waters, fresh out of New Granada. These were simple swabs, ignorant of all save the workings of the deck. But they spoke of some artifact of great value aboard. I gave them a place among my crew, which is not uncommon, you know, for you to just pick up strays from even ships you capture. But it's fairly common, for instance, for like Navy warships to just pick people up from like dockyards from all over the world. Very multicultural places, ships of the Age of Sail. A mountain, a moor, a palace, a slum. Why not the quarters of a galleon in full sail? With each dizzying step, I am whisked around the globe, as simply as turning a corner. Will you be following my path, or forging one anew? What sights you must have witnessed. If my own experience is any guide, I'll keep leaving notes and urge you to do the same, that we might know if our paths have crossed. Thrilling as this is, there is something not quite right with this place, though I struggle to define what. Some earthly tang of reality that is quite missing. I sometimes fancy I can smell the lime and grease paint. So he doesn't believe the world is quite real. I sort of agree with him. I'm not sure where I am, but I don't think I'm actually in the deck of a ship. If that's the same guy as was in the last game, he seems a little more in control of himself now. Maybe that changed after he located the null element. But here's the thing. We're not back in time. I don't actually think I'm in a ship. I think this is something to do with the null element. This is all a bit representative. But they said 1883, so we're well past the Age of Sail by now. Question as to whether or not we're still in the 19th century. There was a studio light in the first game that made me think it was a bit later. But anyway, this is definitely like 16th century at latest. Alright, I haven't got anything in my inventory. What's that? Nothing. There's a light over here. There's a few lights. I think these candles might light up when I've got to do something, so I might have to go over here. Right now I think I'm missing something. This has got something to do with something. I can't turn that. It's number 2. I assume... I can't move these anymore. Something has to go in there. I've already flipped these. There we are. This is a thing. I've got some kind of symbol up here. And I can rotate these, which will unlock a thing. It's another key. Hold on. That's the second of these symbols I've got. Hang on. What was this one? Okay. Top right. That's correct. Oh, it's heading towards the center. This one behind that, top left, also towards the center. A small key. Does this fit in... hold on. I meant to click in on that. Though it probably goes somewhere on the ship. Oh, shit. This, okay. Okay, occasionally you gotta remember to come by things on a fluke. It should have at least had a fingerprint marker there, so I would have known that was there. A strange cylinder. I'm going to assume that that transforms into the device I need. There we are. To turn this. Okay. We've got a grid. Okay, we got a token with a ship. Oh, hold on. No. I think this is important. It didn't take long for us to track her down. We raced north for 2 miles on the deep sea currents to overhaul her head start. Approaching the mainland, we turned west for 2 miles to cut her off at the coast. With no sign, we headed 3 miles south to meet her. We sighted her sure enough, but she cut through the cape before we could intercept. Now we must wait for the tide. Okay. North 2, west 2, south 3. Alright. So... north, west, 1, 2, 3. If I do that... then it travels the token. So I've got to replicate the route they took. Elements turn against us. Even the elements turn against us. Passage through the cape took us 4 miles west. We soon sighted her mast 4 miles to the north of us. Seeing us in pursuit, she cut west 2 miles into a fog bank. So, 4 miles west, 4 miles north, 2 miles west again. Hold the phone. Okay, hang on. There we go, that's where I use the key. Right, I wouldn't have been able to pass through there if I hadn't seen that. Okay. So now I assume the tide has come up and it's flooded parts of the cape so a ship can sail across. 4 west, 4 north, 2 west. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Take that route. We have her now. The fog lifted shortly before noon. There she was 6 miles to the south. Rapidly, we closed her down, and she fled east 2 miles, back to towards the cape. Now she lies north of us by just 1 mile. She won't reach the cape again. Oh, I get to do some sailing? Hard a larboard. I don't know if I'm going larboard or starboard. I hate when people say port side in, like, Age of Sail games or movies or whatever. They didn't use port side until well into the 19th century. They called it larboard. So I think I got to align the compass. Not quite, but that'll close enough. And that unlifts the fog of war, and I can continue onwards. Okay. If you say so. I didn't even notice I was blocked. I was just going to do that anyway. 6 south, east 2, north 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1. And it opens up, it uncovers an indentation that I can now, well, that'll slide into and give me a thing. A lady, a painted figurehead. Now I can guess where that, Jesus. Nearly cut my head off, mate. I can guess where that might go. Figureheads tend to go on the front of the boat. There we are. Plop her there. Okay, we've got the wheel for the helm. I'll take that. We've got some gears. None of this here can be clicked on, but my first, obviously, protocol is to pop that in there. Turn the wheel. And it turns the rudder. Opening up a switch I can pull, which drops the masts and the sails. I'm not entirely sure how that works. Before I turn that, I want to have a look at this sail. Rose. It says Rose behind it. Alright. Noted. Now for the capstan, turn it. One of those directions was going to work. Turning the... That should lift the cannon. Oh, I know. Right, Rose in there. So that should... Not the cannon, the anchor. But, this one's giving me a full letter word, and there's only one nearby that comes to mind, so I'll just punch that in. Rose here. And that gives me the other half of the gem. A gem. Which goes in here. Yoink. And has unlocked another section of the room for me to play around with. Okay, starting with the note. I'll have a look at everything else. It is the natural tendency of this world to twist itself into ever more elaborated arrangements. Like the spirals of a vortex, at once both the pattern and the system. It seems as though each room is itself a part of a wider apparatus. You must tune the room to find the glyph, and tune the glyph to find the door. All must be aligned, but to what purpose? Am I the explorer? The prisoner? Okay, so that's interesting. So the room points you towards the exit. Tuning the room is doing all the puzzles. Finding the glyph is presumably the null element symbol. And once I've aligned with the glyph to see what it's supposed to look like, then I am allowed to leave. I appreciate that they are leaning into the fact that this is called the room and not the puzzle box. Here we go, another note. The Santa Helena came apart on the rocks at 1800 hours. She heaved as if the bottom had been torn from her and began taking on water at an incredible rate. Seems like she struck shoals, I think. Only there were no rocks. We approached as we dared to try and take on survivors, but only one swam clear of the wreckage. He is some sort of scholar. A wild-eyed wreck of a man in tattered, blood-stained rags, clutched in his white-knuckled fist was some sort of sculpture that he babbled was some sort of sculpture that he babbled was of unimaginable power and worth. It seems our prize may not have gone with the Helena. I've moved it to my quarters for safekeeping. Okay, the captain's quarters will have the element. So there may be some history to this. If this is like a true story that's supposed to have actually happened at some point in history. They discovered it, maybe in the New World, in New Granada, the null element, and tried to bring it back to Europe. But got captured by, I don't know, but I presume the English. It does want you to do things in specific orders. Okay, there we are. Await. Okay. Nautical measures R. Shaw and Co. Falmouth. Right. To go on here. Goes over there. Ah, it fits its own sort of thing. Alright, so I gotta balance the weight. The scales. That goes there. That goes there. Okay. Well, A small disc. Alright, I think I can figure this one out first. That goes there. That turns up there. Slides in there. And that gives me another weight. Seeing if I can fiddle with this at all. I want to check everything. So we got another small disc. Okay, I guess I have to put this weight on there. So it'll go in the one that fits it. So square weight goes over there. There'll be a big hexagonal, a sort of star-shaped triangle, and a smaller circle. Alright, well. Oh, wait. Instead of scales, there appear to be markings on it. Thank you, I can see that. I feel like this should go on that one. Alright. Oh, there we go. Triangle. This one is a triangle. I had to align that with that, but it wasn't moving when I touched it earlier. Alright, that goes on the triangle there. I haven't got a disc this time. That's a problem. Okay, these do turn. Now, I'm gonna guess they correspond with something, I just don't know what. Is there anything that looks like... Here we are. Okay. We got a draw. I need... Alright, I think I can figure this out. Just... I need these to... Actually, I think you just need them to point like that, so they would make a square. That should give me the room. There we go. There's another disc in there. And... I've got some with pointy bits on. What if I did that one first, then that one, and that one. There we go. Oh, wait, I'm guessing this one needs to be fiddled with as well. But hang on. Aha! I noticed that little thing that had the texture of these on it. I can pay attention. A small disc. Assumedly that goes in that one. Alright, so this will either be hexagonal or star-shaped. This will be star-shaped. Apparently it's not just about how much it weighs, because I'm not actually changing the physical weight of this. I'm only changing the shape of it. So apparently that doesn't matter so much. We're bringing in these triangles. I suppose that's good. And that's backwards, that won't fit. Actually, I bet... if I turn it around, it will. Wiggle it into position. Can you stop making, like, stings every single time I see a... a weight? This is probably the hexagonal one. Alright. Oh, and it popped off the handle as well. That'll be the small one. I'm slowly bringing in those triangles. Well, that definitely goes there, right? Yeah. It's based mostly on shapes. Anchor and a spring. Well, I think I know where the anchor goes. The spring? I got no idea. Metal clock spring. Alright, there's a device that goes in there that'll turn that. Looks almost like a star, but like one sort of blobby. That can definitely be pulled across. No, not yet. There's stuff at the back here I can... Oh, that might just be hinge work, I'm not sure. It looks like there might be stuff, but I don't think I can interact with it yet. Let's just do what I've got. Go over here. And we will drop anchor. Oh, well, there it is. And where the hell does this metal spring go? Is there any... Like, I know there's clockwork in here. Anything that looks like it could use a spring? No, that might have to be useful elsewhere. Let's just focus on one thing at a time. That opens. Okay, we got a clock. I assume I need to insert the spring somewhere in here. Okay. Oh, I keep accidentally doing stuff and not necessarily meaning it. Okay, that slides back and opens out. Alright, now where would I... It's screwed in place. Right, okay, I need a screwdriver. Still not working. Okay. I need somewhere to be able to open that. This isn't just like fit somewhere on here. Nope. Haha. Nearly missed that. A winding key. Alright, that'll go in the top there. This won't do anything, because if it needs a spring, it's not going to wind up properly. It won't wind up, something is missing from that compartment. Yeah. So, that's doing me a lot of good. I'm assuming at some point... Aha! I didn't notice the shimmering, I just thought it was a different color wood. It's shimmering a little bit, so let's use that occasionally. Actually, you know what, before I do anything else, let's give this place a whole scan. I should have been doing that from the start. Okay. Doesn't look like there's anything else. Right. I can't affect that. But I am seeing what I'm doing is I'm pushing something together. It looks like there's some numbers on there. That looks like there's a 2 in there. Might be a 5 down there. Could be a clock. Or a time, I mean, like, the whole thing's a clock. But there could be a time I've got to set the clock to. There we are. That did something, didn't it? There we go. Need to do both sides. Screwdriver. A small flat-headed screwdriver. Lefty loosey. I'm going to assume that goes in there. And with the spring wound up, it'll set off the clockworks. The clock will go. Do you reckon, by the way, that's turning now? 2:50. That is a time. I'd like to mention, though, that inserting one of those spiral springs is an absolute chore. So, you know. Fair play. 250. There we are. There we go. You have to hold those down, I think. Okay, I've got another key. Goody. I don't actually know where I would use that key. Hold on. Thomas Bradbury Limited. St Albans, England, number 1471, marine chronometer. Impressive piece of work. Really, they were. Like, clocks are exceptionally, like, one of the most difficult parts of navigating was telling the time. So extremely accurate clockwork clocks, as opposed to pendulum clocks, were a massive, like, benefit to navigation, and thus and it was invented in England, which is one of the reasons, among many, that they became such a major naval power. Okay. I've got a key, but where does it go? Excuse me. Aha, up here. That opens a section of it, which also gives me another shimmery bit. Okay, ship. I assume I have to make a ship align with that. Diamond-shaped metal casting. Right, and that'll go on there. Okay, ooh. For some reason that's really unsettling. Alright, so here's the glyph. I've got to align to find the door to the next chapter. Same deal as before. Just prep myself up for some jump scares. Alright, so I've got to align. There we are. That's a different symbol than we were used to. There's the clockwork dimension. Do I see Top Hat Man? He was definitely just... I checked back in the edit, by the way, at the end of the room 1. It looked like just some guy. Alright, chapter 2, Lost at Sea, and the tarot card is navigation. But I checked frame by frame for the, at the jump scare with the guy at the end of the first game, and it was just some guy with a moustache and a top hat. Like, it wasn't scary at all, but it looked like he'd come out of that, doorway. But we're still dealing with that. This is, we're navigating between the realms, and they seem to be representations of tarot. Now, where are we headed? Apparently some rocks.